the Dodge Charger Daytona, a car I am very excited about, and you should be too. And why? Well, because of what I'm doing right now. I am on a racetrack, and yeah, you could have taken the Dodge Challenger on the track, especially the wide body version, but you can also make a grilled cheese sandwich using an iron. That doesn't mean it's the right tool for the job. And that's kind of the case here. When you take a look at that old car, yeah, it was awesome with that big, snarling, supercharged engine, but didn't really handle all that well. This, on the other hand, absolutely does. It is a product of the architecture itself. This thing is all electric. It is stiff. It's also all-wheel drive. It's super wide, and it handles exceptionally well. I cannot believe just how agile this thing is, just how nimble it is. It is so easy to huck this thing around and just have a good time behind the wheel, and that to me is what performance driving is all about. Drag racing, yeah, that's cool, but honestly, it gets a little tired over time. I like being able to do something different, and that is what this car delivers. Something so different, and yet it is still very much a muscle car. It is super cool. This one I'm driving is the Scat Pack, so it makes something like 630 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque, and then it's got this power shot button down here on the steering wheel. You hit that and you get an extra 40 horsepower for up to 15 seconds at a time. Just one more little trick, but honestly, the big thing for me is just how well this thing handles. I will say, I don't love the steering, a real lack of feel, and that is something EVs struggle with. It's very much on display here. Something else I don't love, the regen braking, at least out here on the track. If you take a look at the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is the other sort of performance-oriented EV that you can buy, well, it has regen that you can adjust and call up an even stronger setting for track environments to use that to slow the vehicle down, stay out of the mechanical brakes. Whereas with this one, not the case. I wish there was just one extra setting for out on the track, but other than that, this thing is an absolute blast. It's also pretty cool out on the road too. All right, now that we are off the track, I want to talk to you guys about just how civilized this thing is as an EV, and that might surprise me more than how well it handles on the road or the track. Unlike those gas-powered muscle cars from before, the Charger sedan as well as the Challenger coupe that was really this thing's proper predecessor, but the Charger name makes way more sense here. But anyways, unlike either of those, this thing doesn't really egg you on in everyday driving scenarios. You can just cruise around casually. It's fairly efficient, it's comfortable, it's smooth, even in this RT version that I'm driving that doesn't have the adaptive suspension that comes with that Scat Pack. It's very smooth and comfortable, not a whole lot of road noise to worry about. It's just a good car. It's also fairly affordable in Canada to start. $55,000 plus another $2,600 or so for freight. That is very reasonable, and it's something like $5,000 less than the same trim in the US. Don't forget, no fuel to worry about, unlike something like a Hellcat-powered version of the Challenger that had serious fuel bills to go with it. This thing, all you got to do is pay for electricity, and if you're doing it off-peak time, it should be pretty cheap to top up this 100.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack. That is a lot of energy. Now, I think you're going to get somewhere close to about 500 kilometers of range in this RT version I'm driving, and of course the Scat Pack has a little bit less than that, maybe something around 440 kilometers. And then if you're driving it like the muscle car it's meant to be, especially in a scenario like the drag strip, well, obviously that is going to drop quite significantly, but that is not the point. The point is that you can have all that fun without the massive fuel bill, and that, to me, has some serious appeal. Now, this one makes 456 horsepower to go with 404 pound-feet of torque. It also gets an extra 40 horsepower with that power shot button down here on the steering wheel. A fun little trick. Everything else about it, It's just an EV, and that I think is awesome, especially the regen braking. As long as you turn off creep mode, which once again is such a terrible name. But once you turn that off, this thing has full one pedal driving if you use these paddles on the steering wheel, so you can maximize that regen braking. And it does work very well, again, outside of track environments. I wish it was just a little bit stronger on the track, but out on the road, it is perfectly fine. Now look, I know there's no convincing the skeptics that this is a true successor to the lineup of Dodge muscle cars from before. That's not who I'm trying to speak to here. It's the people who are curious about this car, and I am telling you, this is multifaceted in a way that the Challenger and the old Charger never could be, including with the space in here. There is a ton of it, including in the rear seats. And just to give you guys a sense of how spacious this two-door version is, the seating configuration will not change for the four-door that is coming at some point next year. Basically, just a couple extra doors, a slightly different body, but the space inside is the same. And yes, I can sit in that rear seat, no problem. As you can see, I have tons of room in here. There's tons of tech, including this awesome touchscreen and a couple different instrument displays that you can choose from depending on the trim and package. I really like the fact that, you know, Dodge could have kind of mailed it in, given us a half-baked EV, but it feels like its team went really hard with this Charger Daytona. It's also worth noting that this platform and everything is going to stay the same when there is the gas-powered version that comes out later on that has that straight six that replaces the Hemi in the Stellantis portfolio. But I'm telling you right now, this setup as it sits, with this big battery pack, with these twin 250 kilowatt electric motors, I really think this does justice for Dodge's past, its present, and its future.